Homework question 84, parts C and D were asked. So I was going to go over those real quick here. So on part C, it gives you the domain at the beginning of the problem. Find the specified value given the information provided. Assume this to be true. This is our domain. So if we think of the domain existing between 0 and pi over 2, if you think of your unit circle, this is quadrant 1, which that tells us immediately where to draw our triangle. So we'll go ahead and draw our triangle in quadrant 1. And we'll put theta as always this interior angle right here. And we know that cosine of theta is 3 over 5. So here's where SOHCAHTOA becomes important. We're going to use it with the triangle. We know cosine, which means we're going to use adjacent and hypotenuse. And if that is true, if we label our sides here, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, we know that our adjacent side is 3 and our hypotenuse is 5. You can work the Pythagorean theorem out on this if you'd like. 3 squared plus b squared equals 5 squared. And you end up getting 9 plus b squared equals 25. Subtract 9 to get b squared equals 16. Square root of b is 4. This is your special Pythagorean triple. So our opposite side is 4. Now that you have all three sides, you can find sine. Sine is just opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of that angle is 4 over 5. It's really important to find all your sides first. Then you can go ahead and find your ratios. Alright, so that is C. Let's look at D. D, same domain. So again, we're drawing our triangle in quadrant number 1. Oops. And I'll label our sides again. We have opposite hypotenuse and our adjacent side. Now this time it gives you cosecant of rad 5 over 2. If we think about cosecant, that is related to 1 over sine. So we can find the reciprocal here. Sine of theta will equal 2 over radical 5, which you can see is our cosecant, the reciprocal of the cosecant. So once we have that, sine, again, like similar to our last problem, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So this side, the opposite will be 2, and our hypotenuse will be rad 5. Now we need to find our missing side. Pythagorean theorem again, a squared plus 2 squared equals rad 5 squared. Nice thing about this, these cancel. So you're left with a squared plus 4 equals 5. A squared equals 1, so a is equal to 1. So now we can find our adjacent side as being 1. And now it wants us to find cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over rad 5. Problem with cosine of theta being 1 over rad 5 is you have a radical in the denominator, so we need to rationalize it. Multiply this by rad 5 over rad 5, which will give you rad 5 over 5. That will be your cosine. Alright, so really important about these problems, draw your triangle in the correct quadrant based on the domain that is given, find your missing sides, and then you can go ahead and calculate any of the 6 trig ratios.